Am I on? I hope so. Hello, hello, hello. I'm in a really good mood because I've been fighting with this Cubase problem for maybe like 2 weeks, and it's like pretty much killing me. I almost just wanted to blow my brains out because for some reason, I don't know why, but the auto mic, the at mic, this one right here, doesn't work for some reason. And I didn't know what was wrong with it. I thought it had to do with an update. I currently own a ThinkPad Lenovo P50 workstation. It has like 32 gigabytes of memory and Intel i9, I think, with the NVIDIA M1000M graphics card. So it's pretty up to date, and I haven't had too many problems. But for some reason, whenever I turned on, as you can see in Cubase, whenever I turned on the auto mic, the sound would play when I had the Realtek HD audio on and the Steinberg audio on, but when I tried to turn the OT mic, no sound, no mic, nothing, and I couldn't figure it out why. So I went through all these forums, and to be honest, they really couldn't help me, and I was impatient, so I decided just to mess with it myself. Kept on at it a little bit each day until I figured it out. So first of all, I'm gonna offer some solutions and other ideas. If anyone has this Cubase 6, I own Cubase 6, but I'm sure it could relate to other Cubases. And I have Windows 7. I don't know about any other operating systems, but for now, this is what I will teach you today. And hopefully, I can come up with some solutions for some of you that are having this issue so they won't have to be frustrated like I am. So now, typically, with when I had Cubase issues with my other computer, which is an HP 8710W mobile workstation, it's pretty old, only had 8 gigabytes of RAM. Usually when I had Cubase stuttering problems, it was actually caused by the graphics card, and for some reason, I don't know why they offer it, but when I updated the graphics card, the sound would just end up having incredible latency and it wouldn't work. So in a way, the first thing you guys need to check is make sure your NVIDIA, if you do have a graphics card, I have NVIDIA for both of my laptops. You guys can just go to the website and automatically search, and you can just go into Java. Make sure that is updated. And if it's not updated, try to find the actual graphics card that was originally with your laptop, because for some reason sometimes the NVIDIA updates just clearly don't work. I don't know why. I don't know why they put it up. It's frustrating, but that's just another idea. And now the second idea is I updated the audio. Right now this laptop has Realtek high definition audio driver. And I updated it, and for some reason after that, everything just went to hell. I don't know why. So I tried roll backing all this stuff, and still no avail. The mic still wouldn't pick up sound, and it wouldn't play any sound. So I'm gonna tell you the next step after you done. If you know for certain that it's not any of the video graphic driver, or the audio driver's issues, is you got to go to your control panel and make sure to check your sound. So I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but obviously you can see multiple various sound inputs. So you got to make sure, I think for some other reason you can't have the communications and default device is the same thing. I can't change it because if I do it, you're not going to hear me. But you got to make sure there's right click, and then you see there's set default device. I know it's gray. Maybe this will be better. See, set default device, which is the one that you're going to use your audio station with, and the default communication device. I don't know why they split these up. I don't have an idea why. I think the default device is just the regular sound that you hear like on YouTube. Communication is like Skype, MSN, Facebook Live, or Facebook and Messenger, anything like that. So make sure those are two different setups. Like for example, I have my speaker from my HP laptop coming as the default device, and the Realtek, which is the headphone jack. So that's what I have it separately, as you can see here. So next you go to recording. So make sure this is split up too. My Ott mic is, you can tell it's working. My Ott mic is the one that I'm actually using for my Cubase, and the microphone is like for Skype. It's just my webcam microphone. So make sure that's set up okay. And also you can also check the properties of each, the levels. Make sure it's actually up and not muted. I thought you could disable all sound effects. This one, the new update requires Dolby. I thought it had anything to do with it, but nah, doesn't matter. But you can try turning it off if you need to, but you got to make sure. Some other people from other ideas that I was looking on YouTube, you can also turn off allow applications and uncheck everything for all these applications, see if it works. It didn't work for me, but you can try it for each driver. So for example, you just go here and you look at that too, and the recording, go to the mic, and also look at what it's set at, and make sure that's off. If for me it didn't work, so it's not necessary for some. So thirdly is if you have like Realtek, they have a separate audio manager, so you got to go here too. So I went to this. This is my audio manager for Realtek. Make sure the speaker that you want to use is set to default. You also can go to device advanced settings. See, I don't know why. For some reason, Realtek has two different drivers, yet they put it all. Classic mode is where it just bunches it all together. So the speaker and the speaker that goes with the jack is combined, and sometimes that might cause issues because you can't have one sound from one device, else it won't work. So make sure it's on multi. And it depends if you have Realtek too, but I'm pretty sure it could relate. So if you have a different sound control panel, make sure to go there. So for example, it's the microphone one, and make sure that's all correct. You can go through these settings and blah, blah, blah. And for me, I don't know if it worked. It might have, but it didn't really solve the problem. So what the real problem actually is, I discovered I use Audio for All. And I don't know if it's Cubase. For some reason, I'll show you now. I'm going to go in Cubase right now. So this is the Cubase program I use. I, in the past, used Audio for All, but for some reason it didn't work. But my brother was experimenting a bit, and he could change the VST system. I'm not going to change it now, but the Audio DirectX full duplex driver right here, that's the default. I heard to some people that it's not necessary to have an Audio for All, which basically lets you manage each sound system. But I feel like the Audio DirectX driver is still latent. So I still like Audio for All, and I wanted it to work. So make sure that's set up correctly, and you go to Audio for All. So this is the big deal here. So I'm not going to reset this, but you have to. So the steps you need to do is look at your driver system and device setup here in the control panel. For some odd thing, even if you hit reset, and I recommend after you set it up in Realtek, make sure you have the ones that are using. So I'm using the sound. This is the sound where the sound's coming from, the speaker sound, and this the Ott mic's on, the blue. And in the past, for some reason, it would always just show this red exclamation point, or this weird yellow cross or something like that. I don't know what that exactly means, but apparently it means overload. So even if it was Audio for All, and you make sure these are all set, you got to make sure to hit reset. And then you also got to turn off all the checkpoints. Make sure they're all off. And then you hit reset again. And then turn on the ones that you need. For example, I have the HD mic. I usually use the auto mic, but it won't record sound if I leave it. So I recommend just stick with one input. That might cause interference when you set it up in direct drivers here. And the speaker system. So make sure you just turn it off and on, because even though, I don't know why, it must be some sort of bug, but it just doesn't update. Even when you hit reset, this reset button here in Audio for All, it still doesn't work. So in the end, the problem is still Cubase, and for some reason it doesn't update or refresh itself. So make sure you turn off each visible checkpoint of the port system. I guess you could hit reset here if I don't. But make sure that's all off and then turn them all on to what you need. And then that's when the microphone actually worked for me. And oddly enough, this is my brother's song. And you just go to control panel or VST connections. And you can see it's not connected. But and apparently I would use Automic and output and make sure it's set up. I have a Steinberg. It might be hidden by that. It's a 12. It's a audio sound card, which supposedly, according to the audio people that Steinberg owns Cubase, says that you need one. I don't know. I think it somewhat helps a little bit, but is it massive? Nah. But yeah, so that's the issue, and I figured it out. And as you could hear from my brother's friendly Friends Forever rap song, you can hear the sound here. You got the jig, 'cause you know we will make it. Just maybe not, maybe you can't. You probably can, maybe in the system speaker. Hopefully, I don't know. But it says rap song, and trust me, it works. I know the mic turns on. And you also can play from the piano with the USB with very little latency. Oh, another thing, if you use a piano and it's slow, you can, oh sorry, I don't need to do that. You can just click this time button right here. It constrains the delay compensation. Now, when you have like various VSTI inputs like isotope, it pretty much turns all that stuff off. And when you play music, sometimes the sound isn't like, it's not on time. So if you play the A note, you're gonna hear it like a second later, and that affects stuff. You don't want that. So, make sure that's on when you're recording, because then everything will be like as if you're playing it. I don't know if it's gonna work here. Let me try. Probably not. I don't have it connected. But yeah. So again, one time I'll show you again. Go to device setup and make sure your Audio for All. If you do use Audio for All, make sure you turn it all off with the X, and then turn it back on. And also hit reset. So I repeat, turn it all off, hit reset, and then turn it all on. And also, for some reason, when you turn on a various input-output, it doesn't automatically show up right away in Audio for All. So if you want to make sure all your speakers and your microphones are in check, you got to hit reset so everything refreshes. In the past, I thought that would just refresh everything and make everything work, but no, it doesn't. And I was having hanging and all that stuff, and I was fighting. I didn't understand why. I had a pretty decent computer, but anyway, those are the fixes. So have a good one. Hope this helps.